Instagram page at St.Kitts HPU or visit our YouTube channel, St. Kitts Health Promotion Unit, or call to speak to someone from the Ministry of Health by dialing 869-465-2521.
Protect yourself from the novel coronavirus. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently for at least 20 seconds each time. Avoid shaking hands and touching your face with unclean hands. If you have to cough or sneeze, do so into your flexed elbow or a paper towel and then dispose of it. Keep a distance of 3 feet away from anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. Boost your immune system with vitamins, drink plenty of water, and get adequate rest. Visit your doctor, the nearest hospital, or health center if you or a family member becomes ill. A message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with NEMA, has been putting all necessary measures in place to protect you from the novel coronavirus. In this video, we will share with
I refer to elderly over 60, I refer to people with hypertension, diabetes, kidney compromise or kidney failure, and hygiene is important in cooking. We should wash our hands thoroughly before and after handling raw meat. Cooking boards should be separate for raw food and cooked food, and of course the raw meat should be cooked thoroughly. For the pet owners, they should also consider washing their hands before and after dealing with pets. The virus can get on any other inanimate objects such as doorknobs, computer screens, computer keyboards, and we should consider wiping those down with Lysol or Clorox. Let us try to build our immune system, exercise, rest, vitamins, vitamin C especially, also fruits and vegetables, and hydration, drinking lots and lots of water. There is a lot of misleading information being spread about the COVID-19, rumors. So what we do suggest is that you follow up with the Ministry of Health in terms of their Facebook page. Also, there's information that's readily available from WHO, World Health Organization, or from Caribbean Public Health Agency. So for further information on COVID-19, we can visit the social media outlets or social media pages of the Ministry of Health, so the St. Kitts Health Promotion Unit on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on YouTube. Or we can just call 467-1172 or 467-1108.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with NEMA, has been putting all necessary measures in place to protect you from the novel coronavirus. In this video, we will share with you tips that will help you avoid getting and spreading it. The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with Nevis, please do so in a paper towel or into your elbow. In place. Then discard the paper towel into a garbage container with a cover. In this video, we will share with you your face tips that will help surfaces avoid getting and spreading it. If you have the virus can enter your eyes, please nose, do so ears, in a paper towel and make you sick. Your elbow. You may use the paper towel into a garbage container with a cover. Avoid touching your face when you touch surfaces that may be contaminated. The virus can enter your eyes, nose, ears, and mouth and make you sick. You may use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer to clean your hands. Frequently wash your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds, especially after using the toilet, before and during food preparation, after cleaning a baby, elderly, or sick person. Avoid shaking hands and hugging, sharing eating utensils and cups with others, because viruses can be transferred in this way. Boost your immune system with multivitamin supplements by eating more fruits and vegetables. Drink plenty of water to keep your body hydrated and get enough rest and exercise. This may be difficult, but stay away from events having large gatherings of people. If you must attend such an event, stay at least 3 feet away from someone exhibiting heavy coughing and sneezing. For more information, visit the ministry's Facebook and Instagram page at St.Kitts HPU or visit our YouTube channel, St. Kitts Health Promotion Unit, or call to speak to someone from the Ministry of Health by dialing 869-465-2521.
Protect yourself from the novel coronavirus. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently for at least 20 seconds each time. Avoid shaking hands and touching your face with unclean hands. If you have to cough or sneeze, do so into your flexed elbow or a paper towel and then dispose of it. Keep a distance of 3 feet away from anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. Boost your immune system with vitamins, drink plenty of water, and get adequate rest. Visit your doctor, the nearest hospital, or health center if you or a family member becomes ill. A message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with NEMA, has been putting all necessary measures in place to protect you from the novel coronavirus. In this video, we will share with you tips that will help you avoid getting and spreading it. If you have to cough or sneeze, please do so in a paper towel or into your elbow. Then discard the paper towel into a garbage container with a cover. Avoid touching your face when you touch surfaces that may be contaminated. The virus can enter your eyes, nose, ears, and mouth and make you sick. You may use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer to clean your hands. Frequently wash your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds, especially after using the toilet, before and during food preparation, after cleaning a baby, elderly, or sick person. Avoid shaking hands and hugging, sharing eating utensils and cups with others, because viruses can be transferred in this way. Boost your immune system with multivitamin supplements by eating more fruits and vegetables. Drink plenty of water to keep your body hydrated and get enough rest and exercise. This may be difficult, but stay away from events having large gatherings of people. If you must attend such an event, stay at least 3 feet away from someone exhibiting heavy coughing and sneezing. For more information, visit the ministry's Facebook and Instagram page at St.Kitts HPU or visit our YouTube channel, St. Kitts Health Promotion Unit, or call to speak to someone from the Ministry of Health by dialing 869-465-2521.
Protect yourself from the novel coronavirus. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently for at least 20 seconds each time. Avoid shaking hands and touching your face with unclean hands. If you have to cough or sneeze, do so into your flexed elbow or a paper towel and then dispose of it. Keep a distance of 3 feet away from anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. Boost your immune system with vitamins, drink plenty of water, and get adequate rest. Visit your doctor, the nearest hospital, or health center if you or a family member becomes ill. A message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
Novel coronavirus has been topic of conversation globally and of course in St. Kitts and Nevis. Basically, the word novel in coronavirus identifies that this is something new to the human being. In preparation of COVID-19 in St. Kitts and Nevis, we have to be able to identify the symptoms. These symptoms may include fever for a prolonged period of time, coughing for a prolonged period of time, shortness of breath, or any respiratory type symptoms. In addition, for prevention, we should avoid holding hands, shaking hands, sharing forks, knives, spoons, and even cups. To consider avoiding touching one's face, nose, mouth, eyes. So to avoid self-contamination, that is touching the face, we are advised to use alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Now, these alcohol-based hand sanitizers should have at least 60 to 70% alcohol in it. We should also consider washing our hands thoroughly when handling babies before and after, also in the case of the sick and the elderly. So when I speak of sick people, I refer to elderly over 60, I refer to people with hypertension, diabetes, kidney compromise or kidney failure, and hygiene is important in cooking. We should wash our hands thoroughly before and after handling raw meat. Cooking boards should be separate for raw food and cooked food, and of course raw meat should be cooked thoroughly. For the pet owners, they should also consider washing their hands before and after dealing with pets. The virus can get on any other inanimate objects such as doorknobs, computer screens, computer keyboards, and we should consider wiping those down with Lysol or Clorox. Let us try to build our immune system. Exercise. rest, vitamins, vitamin C especially, also fruits and vegetables, and hydration, drinking lots and lots of water. There is a lot of misleading information being spread about the COVID-19, rumors. So what we do suggest is that you follow up with the Ministry of Health in terms of their Facebook page. Also, there's information that's readily available from WHO, World Health Organization, or from Caribbean Public Health Agency. So for further information on COVID-19, we can visit the social media outlets or social media pages of the Ministry of Health through the St. Kitts Health Promotion Unit on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on YouTube. Or we can just call 467-1172 or 467-1108.
Protect yourself from the novel coronavirus. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently for at least 20 seconds each time. Avoid shaking hands and touching your face with unclean hands. If you have to cough or sneeze, do so into your flexed elbow or a paper towel and then dispose of it. Keep a distance of 3 feet away from anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. Boost your immune system with vitamins, drink plenty of water, and get adequate rest. Visit your doctor, the nearest hospital, or health center if you or a family member becomes ill. A message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Protect yourself from the novel coronavirus. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently for at least 20 seconds each time. Avoid shaking hands and touching your face with unclean hands. If you have to cough or sneeze, do so into your flexed elbow or a paper towel and then dispose of it. Keep a distance of 3 feet away from anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. Boost your immune system with vitamins, drink plenty of water, and get adequate rest. Visit your doctor, the nearest hospital, or health center if you or a family member becomes ill. A message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with NEMA, has been putting all necessary measures in place to protect you from the novel coronavirus. In this video, we will share with you tips that will help you avoid getting and spreading it. If you have to cough or sneeze, please do so in a paper towel or into your elbow. Then discard the paper towel into a garbage container with a cover. Avoid touching your face when you touch surfaces that may be contaminated. The virus can enter your eyes, nose, ears, and mouth and make you sick. You may use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer to clean your hands. Frequently wash your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds, especially after using the toilet, before and during food preparation, after cleaning a baby, elderly, or sick person. Avoid shaking hands and hugging, sharing eating utensils and cups with others, because viruses can be transferred in this way. Boost your immune system with multivitamin supplements by eating more fruits and vegetables. Drink plenty of water to keep your body hydrated and get enough rest and exercise. This may be difficult, but stay away from events having large gatherings of people. If you must attend such an event, stay at least 3 feet away from someone exhibiting heavy coughing and sneezing. For more information, visit the ministry's Facebook and Instagram page at St.Kitts HPU, or visit our YouTube channel, St. Kitts Health Promotion Unit, or call to speak to someone from the Ministry of Health by dialing 869-465-2521.
Protect yourself from the novel coronavirus. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently for at least 20 seconds each time. Avoid shaking hands and touching your face with unclean hands. If you have to cough or sneeze, do so into your flexed elbow or a paper towel and then dispose of it. Keep a distance of 3 feet away from anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. Boost your immune system with vitamins, drink plenty of water, and get adequate rest. Visit your doctor, the nearest hospital, or health center if you or a family member becomes ill. A message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with NEMA, has been putting all necessary measures in place to protect you from the novel coronavirus. In this video, we will share with you tips that will help you avoid getting and spreading it. If you have to cough or sneeze, please do so in a paper towel or into your elbow. Then discard the paper towel into a garbage container with a cover. Avoid touching your face when you touch surfaces that may be contaminated. The virus can enter your eyes, nose, ears, and mouth and make you sick. You may use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer to clean your hands. Frequently wash your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds, especially after using the toilet, before and during food preparation, after cleaning a baby, elderly or sick person. Avoid shaking hands and hugging, sharing eating utensils and cups with others, because viruses can be transferred in this way. Boost your immune system with multivitamin supplements by eating more fruits and vegetables. Drink plenty of water to keep your body hydrated and get enough rest and exercise. This may be difficult, but stay away from events having large gatherings of people. If you must attend such an event, stay at least 3 feet away from someone exhibiting heavy coughing and sneezing. For more information, visit the ministry's Facebook and Instagram page.
Between fingers and around the nails. Rinse hands under running water. Use something clean to wipe your hands, preferably a disposable paper towel. The best way to wash your hands is using running water and soap, but sometimes we don't have that available. When not available, use hand sanitizer that should have at least 60% alcohol content. Your health is your responsibility. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Health, St. Kitts.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Dwayne Archibald, Head of Emergency Room at Joseph and France Hospital. Novel coronavirus has been topic of conversation globally and of course in St. Kitts and Nevis. Basically, the word novel in coronavirus identifies that this is something new to the human being. In preparation of COVID-19 in St. Kitts and Nevis, we have to be able to identify the symptoms. These symptoms may include fever for a prolonged period of time, coughing for a prolonged period of time, shortness of breath, or any respiratory type symptoms. In addition, for prevention, we should avoid holding hands, shaking hands, sharing forks, knives, spoons, and even cups. To consider avoiding touching one's face, nose, mouth, eyes. So to avoid self-contamination, that is touching the face, we are advised to use alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Now, these alcohol-based hand sanitizers should have at least 60 to 70% alcohol in it. We should also consider washing our hands thoroughly when handling babies before and after, also in the case of the sick and the elderly. So when I speak of sick people, I refer to elderly over 60, I refer to people with hypertension, diabetes, kidney compromise or kidney failure, and hygiene is important in cooking. We should wash our hands thoroughly before and after handling one meat. Cooking boards should be separate.
Good night, my family.
And cooked food. And of course, raw
everybody's
meat should
looking
be
good.
Thoroughly. For the
everybody's
pet owners,
feeling good.
They should also consider washing their hands before and after dealing with pets.
I want to first of all apologize for
any other inanimate objects such as doorknobs, computer screens.
And I want, in the process, to invite us all to stand. Please stand and we invoke God's. As we invite Mr. Aldrin Thomas, a son of Newton Ground, to invoke God's blessing tonight. Pastor Thomas.
Let us pray. Eternal God and Father, all praise, all glory, all honor be to you forever and ever. Indeed, O God, we are thankful that you have enabled us to be here tonight. We pray, O God, that whatever is to be discussed, that your wisdom, your knowledge, and understanding would be a part of it. May you place, O God, within the hearts and minds of those who are a part of the panel, your thoughts, O God, pertaining to the discussions. May your grace and mercy, may your understanding rest upon those who are in the audience. And may all that is said and done here tonight be to the honor and glory of your name in Christ Jesus. We pray, Father God, for the Prime Minister who is not here as yet, O God, that indeed you would grant him traveling mercies, covering him with the blood of the eternal covenant in Christ Jesus. And may you, O God, continue to be a God of mercy, a God of protection, and a God of provision over all our lives. Through the eternal covenant in Christ Jesus, we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Please remain standing. Please remain standing for a few more moments as we play and or sing the national anthem. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Duty is mine, my family, to welcome you to this in our series of town hall meetings as we celebrate the 5th anniversary in office of your Team Unity government. We have started in this series to account for our stewardship, and I'm sure you all will agree we have been doing a wonderful job. Say that like you mean it. We have been doing a wonderful job. As we continue to build a stronger and safer St. Kitts and Nevis, we are not going to turn back. We are not going to be distracted by nothing at all. We are here tonight, and I must first of all recognize my colleagues at the head table. Our distinguished Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Sean Kenneth Richards. To his immediate left is the distinguished Eugene Alistair Hamilton. And from number 4, for sure, Lindsay Fitzpatrick Grant. We also have from across the waters, across the narrows, the indomitable Vance Winkworth Amory. And the rose in the cabinet between all these thorns is Wendy, the Honorable Wendy Phipps. We await the arrival of our distinguished Prime Minister. And when I hear the noise outside, Harris again, I know he's arrived. We also, at the head table, have Mr. Abdias Samuel, who is the Director of the National Emergency Management Agency. And of course, a lady who has been in the forefront for the past several weeks. I'm sure many of us wondered from when she came. She has come from right here in St. Kitts. She was on loan to Jamaica, and she felt it appropriate to come back home and to offer her services, and what a wonderful job she's doing. Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Lords. We also have another son of the soil in our audience who I must recognize, who is the Chief Medical Officer, is the Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Cameron Wilkerson, who he too is doing a wonderful job. And we have our Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, who is with us, Mrs. Harris. Also with us tonight is the incoming representative of Central Bastille, Ambassador Donald Powell. And most times we leave the best for last. Because in number three, there is a representative. He claims he has won 4 crowns, but 2 of them belong to 2 women. And the next crown is vying to win. He has to compete against another woman. And I tell you, he's afraid of women, and I know he's afraid of Akila Byron Nisbet. Welcome her. Now, my family, we have done a wonderful job. You have all agreed. But as we continue to transform St. Kitts and Nevis, and when we are completed, after this term is ended, we already agree that St. Kitts and Nevis will never be the same again. But through it all, there are difficulties. And through it all, we are exposed to many things, many dangers. And I want to say to you tonight, as you recognize that lots of things are being said. You've been hearing lots of fake news. There has been an outbreak. There has been an outbreak of, I said, 2 viruses in St. Kitts and Nevis. One is global in reach, and one has its origin right here in St. Kitts. And that one, with its origin in St. Kitts and Nevis, is one we have to be cautious about, one we have to be wary about. And that is a political virus that I have labeled the Douglas virus. The Douglas virus is unlike most viruses that are microscopic organisms that exist almost everywhere on this earth. It is infectious like most viruses, except it is laced with lies. Lies and more lies. Just today, I heard some breaking news about first case confirmed in St. Kitts. as if those people in opposition are just praying for something to happen in St. Kitts. But we are a blessed people. We are a God-loved people. We are a praying people, and God answers prayer. My family, tonight our debate or our discussions will move in a particular direction, in that we are of the view that we must have discussion on the impact of the other virus, which is global in reach, and that is what we all have come to know as the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. And this virus, we know the history of it, so I don't need to go and outline it. And we have the experts here to tell us about the virus. But we believe that was important. We believe that it is important for us to have a discussion. And we, as I said, we are not entertaining the political virus. We have gone to the source of the experts, because everything we have done in the past is based on the medical advice that we have been given. And I can say to you, we have been given some wonderful advice, and I must again invoke your applause for Abdias Samuel, who is heading the task force, and Dr. Hazel Laws, and our Dr. Wilkinson, who are leading us. Now, a lot of things have been happening, and we believe that as a people, we have a responsibility and we have a role to play. And without any further ado, I will invite Dr. Hazel Laws, the Chief Medical Officer, who will bring us up an update and provide the necessary advice on the way forward, as we are in some serious times, my Straight Dog family. If Dr. Laws will just pause for a moment. I understand that the Prime Minister is here, and we want to welcome him with a wonderful round of applause as he stops his way in, Dr. Harris.
Me don't know about you, but me love St. Kitts bad. Me don't know what them a talk about when them say St. Kitts mad. Whenever we're in the world.
Thank you very much. We welcome our team leader, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Sylvester Harris. And as I was saying, put your hands together and give a rapturous round of applause for the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, who will address us now. Dr. Laws.
Good night, everyone. This evening, we are gathered here to talk about the coronavirus or COVID-19. My task is quite simple. I'm going to provide you the latest information regarding the status of the COVID-19 outbreak. I'm going to provide you with some facts about the virus. We want to empower you with some information, and then we are going to leave you with some tidbits, some recommendations regarding how you and I can prepare ourselves and protect ourselves from this deadly virus. And so these are the three things that I want to achieve here this evening. The coronavirus disease has spread to over 159 countries globally. 159 countries. There are 193 countries that make up the United Nations, and so this disease has spread to 80% of the countries that make up the United Nations. And it's for this reason that the World Health Organization has declared this outbreak a pandemic. This outbreak will affect our country's health system, it will affect our economy, it will affect our social structure as we know it. The response to this disease requires an all-of-society and an all-of-government approach in order for us to be successful. And so that's why we are here this evening. I am here as the Chief Medical Officer within the Ministry of Health, but I am also a member of the COVID-19 National Task Force, led by our chair who is present, Mr. Abdiel Samuel. We must educate you, the public, about this virus, and the best time to do so is now, before the outbreak. We must prepare the health system and we must contain this infection. We have adopted a hashtag. What's the hashtag, Mr. Samuel? Hashtag Flatten the Curve SKN. We need to reduce to a minimum the number of individuals that are impacted by this virus. So what's the latest on this outbreak? As I said before, as of today, March 17th, over 184,976 persons have been diagnosed with this new coronavirus, and we have 159 countries reporting confirmed cases. The death toll is over 7,500, or about 4% of those impacted have died. The virus started in Wuhan, China. We saw a number of countries in Asia impacted. It is now making its way across Europe. Italy is now the epicenter of the outbreak in Europe. It has made its way to the United States of America. And guess what? It has made its way into the Caribbean. So there are a number of countries surrounding St. Kitts and Nevis that have already been impacted. You and I are following up the news. So let me see how many are paying attention. How many cases have the Dominican Republic confirmed? 21 cases. St. Martin has reported 2 cases. St. Bart's, 3 cases. Martinique have reported 16 cases. As at today, Jamaica reported 12 cases. St. Vincent and the Grenadines reported 1 case. Guyana, 4 cases. Cuba, 5 cases. St. Lucia, how many? 2 cases. The Bahamas reported 1 case. Our neighbors, Trinidad and Tobago, reported 5 cases. Cayman Islands, 1. Antigua and Barbuda, 1. The U.S. Virgin Islands have also reported cases. St. Croix reported 2 cases, and St. Thomas, 1 case. So, ladies and gentlemen, the virus is fast approaching. It's not a matter of if it will get here, it's a matter of when. However, I want to state emphatically, to date, St. Kitts and Nevis does not have any reported cases of COVID-19. I want to repeat, to date, St. Kitts and Nevis does not have any reported cases of COVID-19. However, I want us to remember that the risk of the virus reaching our federation is extremely high. All right, so what are we going to do to prepare ourselves for this virus? Well, before we go on to the tidbits, I want to provide you with some basic information about the virus. Because if we empower you with this information, you'll be in a better position to protect yourselves. Now, how is this virus spread from one person to another? COVID-19 is spread mainly via respiratory droplets. That is, persons who contract the disease, they start coughing and sneezing, and the respiratory droplets are laden with virus particles, and persons who are nearby, they are at risk of picking up this infection. So that's the main means of spread. You can also catch it through contact. If you're greeting your friends, your loved ones, by hugging, kissing, touching, or even passing stuff to your friends and loved ones with hands that are infected or contaminated with the virus. So that's another means of spread. And so it's important to note the means by which this virus is passed from one individual to another. Because if you understand this, then you're in a better position to prevent the spread. What are the most common reported symptoms of this infection? Well, it's important for us to know, because after we would have advertised or announced our first case, after we would have told you that we have established local transmission, you and I would need to know what the symptoms are. What do we look for in our friends, our loved ones, in order for us to realize that they have contracted the infection? So these symptoms include fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath. These are the most common symptoms of this virus. So a fever, dry cough, shortness of breath. I hope we are paying attention because we may ask you, okay? The other symptoms of this infection include runny nose, aches and pains, muscle aches and pains, conjunctivitis, redness of the eyes. So when you look in your loved one's eyes and you see the eyes red, something is wrong. And some other individuals who contract this infection, they go on to experience vomiting and diarrhea. So these are the main symptoms of the infection. And it's important because when we are in the outbreak, you need to pick up these symptoms quickly, because when you pick up the symptoms, that means you need to go and get care. What's the incubation period of this infection? 14 days. But let me just explain what incubation period means. It's the time between you're picking up the infection and you're manifesting symptoms, like when you start to cough and when you mount a fever. It's usually 14 days. However, the information tells us that it can be as long as 21 to 24 days. Now, there is some hope, all right, with respect to this virus, because the information that we are getting tells us that majority of the patients who get this infection are adults. When you look at those in China who got the infection, only 2% of the individuals were under the age of 19. So for me, that's very reassuring, because what it is telling me is that this infection is not prevalent amongst children. And for me, that's reassuring. Would you agree? Another point I want us to note is that approximately 80% of patients who get this infection, they only experience a mild form of illness and a mild clinical course, and then they recover without any complications. In other words, most persons who get this infection, they recover without much problems. Some of us may not even have any symptoms. And for me, again, this is reassuring. 15% of individuals, however, will go on to have serious illness and may require hospitalization. And 5% will require intensive care unit admission. However, it's important to note that serious illness is associated with older age, for example, persons 70 years and older, and it's also associated with persons with underlying chronic medical conditions, conditions like diabetes, conditions like hypertension, heart disease, renal disease or renal failure, and chronic lung disease like asthma. And so I want to plead to those of you who have diabetes and hypertension and asthma. You know what you need to do? I need you to make sure you go to the clinic or go to your private doctor. Make sure you have your medication. Be compliant with your medication. In other words, take your medication as prescribed by the doctor. Why? Because in so doing, your blood sugar will be controlled, your blood sugar values will be normal, your blood pressure values will be normal, and then your body's immune system will be able to fight off this infection. So it's very important. If you're chronically ill, you can still boost your own immune system to try and fight off this infection. But to date, there isn't any specific treatment that the physician or the doctor can give you to totally or treat this infection. They have tried some medications like anti-HIV and anti-flu medication, but these medications, they do not work for all persons who have the disease. Again, there isn't a vaccine to date. There are some vaccine candidates on the market, but right now, there isn't a vaccine that we can give you to protect you against this virus. So these are some of the facts about this disease or virus we wanted to share with you. Because if you understand these important points, you're in a better position to protect yourselves. Now, if you don't remember anything from what I'm saying here tonight, I want you to pay particular attention to what I'm going to say now. If you have a pen and paper, I want you to write these things down. Let me see a show of hands who brought pen and paper. No? Okay, I want to leave with you. Okay, phone, okay. Well, I'm old, so the younger persons, you can, type in the information in your phone. Thanks for the reminder. All right, so tip number 1, hand hygiene. Washing your hands regularly is the best defense against this virus. So you writing that down or you're typing it in your phone? Type it and send it to your friend, okay? Washing your hands regularly, especially after touching dirty door handles or countertops when you go to pay your bill at the electricity department or the phone company. You have to keep your hands clean. Wash your hands properly with soap and water. And we take it for granted, but you have to wash your front, your back, and in between for no less than 20 seconds. So you have to keep your hands clean. So that's very, very important. You also have to keep your hands out of your face. Why? Because as human beings, we have a natural tendency, like you, to put your hands in your face, eyes, nose, mouth. You rub your eyes, you touch your nose and the mouth. In so doing, you can be introducing the virus into your own blood system. And so you have to keep your hands out of your face, eyes, nose, mouth. So that's very, very important. But guess what? It's easy for me here to stand and say so, but as humans, it's like a reflex action. But I want us to be intentional in terms of keeping our hands out of our face. We need to avoid close contact with anyone who has cold and flu symptoms. So after we would have announced our first case and confirmed that the virus is here, and once the disease starts spreading from one individual to another, it's important. If somebody is coughing and sneezing, what are you going to do? Maintain a safe distance from anybody coughing and sneezing. But tell me something, where should such individuals be? If when we are in the outbreak and somebody is coughing and sneezing, where should they be? At home. If they are mildly ill, they will be isolated at home, because we're going to have to manage some patients in the home setting, isolated at home. However, if you are impacted and you have severe form of the disease, you will be isolated in the hospital. Persons who are ill and coughing and sneezing, they are the ones who should be wearing the face masks. Okay? They are the ones, when you're coughing and sneezing, you need to have 1 or 2 face masks at home, the surgical masks, to put around your face to prevent your loved ones from picking up the infection from you. Use of disposable gloves. That's something you may need to consider depending on what you do for a living, your occupation. If your occupation puts you in contact with individuals who may be ill, you may consider using disposable gloves to protect yourself from contracting the infection. So, for example, if you have a stall and you sell food stuff or you sell ground provision and persons will be coming to buy from you, you may opt to wear a pair of disposable gloves during the daytime to protect you from the virus. Now, how can you and I boost our immune systems to fight off this virus? I want to hear from you. What? Vitamin C, B complex, B12. That's it? Water. It's very, very important to keep well hydrated, because your body's organ systems work efficiently and optimally when you keep well hydrated. Any other ways in which you can boost your own immune system? Huh? Eat healthily. What can you eat to boost your own immune system? Fruits and vegetables. So guess what? As we prepare for this outbreak, when you go to the supermarket, these are the things you purchase to prepare for this outbreak. Fruits and vegetables. And then you go to the pharmacy and ask the pharmacist to recommend the appropriate multivitamins to help boost your immune system. So these are the things you go to the supermarket and get to prepare for the outbreak. Okay? The fruits, the vegetables, healthy food to boost your immune system so that your body functions optimally to fight off this infection. So again, eating healthily, getting adequate rest at night is very important. Managing your stress levels, drinking enough water. We take water for granted, but guess what? Keeping yourself adequately hydrated can make the difference between your getting over the virus without any problems or you're getting very ill and have to go in the hospital. And let me see a show of hands who want to end up in the hospital. Nobody. So you're going to boost your own immune system in terms of preparing for this virus. And again, I can't stress it enough. Those of us who have diabetes or hypertension or asthma, you need to go to your physician, your regular doctor, make sure you have your medication, your diabetes medication, hypertension, your inhalers, your Ventolin and Becotide inhalers, because then your body will be functioning optimally to fight off the infection. The latest bit of information coming out of Italy. Okay? Are we listening? Okay. Remember I said that one of the most common symptoms is fever. When you have a fever, what you go to the pharmacy and get? Huh? Paracetamol, Panadols, So that's good. Okay? So that's very good. So actually that's what's recommended. Panadol, paracetamol. Okay? If that is not working, you need to go to the physician to get alternate anti-fever medication. So Panadol, paracetamol, those are the preferred options in terms of treating the fever associated with this virus. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you took notes. These are the major points or tidbits I wanted to leave with you in terms of your being able to prepare yourselves, protect yourselves and your family for this outbreak. Coronavirus disease or COVID-19 is a new virus. It has never been here before, and it's spreading rapidly around the globe. The risk to our federation is high. But guess what? There are things that you and I can do to prepare for it and to fight it off. I want to assure you that to date, we do not have any confirmed cases. I also want to assure you that our health system stands ready to fight off this outbreak. But we cannot do it alone. We cannot sit in the Ministry of Health and fight off this disease. It's you and I in our homes, in our communities, following these tidbits that I just left with you. These are the actions that are going to help us to fight off this disease. You know what's the approach of the Ministry of Health? Keeping the number of persons who get this disease to the lowest. And we can only achieve this by you and you and you and I. Washing our hands, staying away from those who are ill, and if you are providing care to those who are ill, take the necessary precautions to reduce the number of persons who get this disease. I have never been in a pandemic before, and I'm sure most of us have not been. This pandemic is going to change our lives as we know it. We are actually wading through uncharted territory and waters. We need all hands on deck. We need an all of society and an all of government approach to this response. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
The other on your chest. We never gonna rest till everybody bless. Make sure say everybody bless. Yeah.
Put your hands together one more time for Dr. Laws. And as she said, came to provide the facts. And your team, Unity Government, has taken the lead in this time of potential crisis and in preparation for this possible outbreak. Left us with some tips. I trust and hope you have noted them. There's one particular tip I'm sure you'll remember. Drink a lot of water. Water is life. And I see a lot of lovers in the house. The other tip is refrain from hugging and kissing. That's the tip. He said, yes. That's no joke, that's serious. But as we continue to provide the facts, my family, I now invite to the podium the chairman of the COVID-19 National Task Force, Mr. Abdius Samuels, who will give us an update on the preparation being undertaken.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good. I have never felt so comfortable going to battle with such a powerful woman like Dr. Laws. And if I feel comfortable, you must feel comfortable as well. Let's give her a round of applause again, please. Now, back in January, we saw that the epidemic, as it was classified then, was a threat to St. Kitts and Nevis. I remember one afternoon sitting in the office in discussion with my colleagues overseas, and they're saying, listen, Sammy, that's far still. We had foresight, and with one phone call, Dr. Laws was in my office in less than 20 minutes. That's a CMO. That's a Chief Medical Officer. Dr. Laws sat with me in January, early January, and we addressed this situation right away. And we put a task force together. And the task force then was a bit smaller than what it is now. But please, let's give accolades to that task force for the hard work they are doing at our borders. Again, and I want to echo with pride what Dr. Laws has said. To date, we have been able to delay the arrival of this virus to St. Kitts and Nevis because of the work of the persons on the front line at our borders. Let's give them a round of applause. I am motivated by my task force, and that task force is comprised of Mr. Don James, CEO of SCASPA, Mr. Ken De Silva, Comptroller of Customs, Ms. Marceline Hughes, Chief Immigration Officer, Mr. Walter Bass, Commandant of the Coast Guard, Mr. Melvin James, from the Director within the Ministry of Agriculture, Superintendent Travis Rogers, Superintendent Cromwell Henry, Mr. Brian Dyer, Director of the Disaster Management Department in Nevis, Ms. Clarissa Langley Stevens, Deputy National Disaster Coordinator at NEMA, Dr. Hazel Laws, and yours truly. Give them a round of applause for the work that they are doing. St. Kitts and Nevis continues to prepare to respond to the impact of COVID-19. The National Working Group, led by myself and co-chaired by Dr. Laws, has been readying stakeholders, partners, and the public sector for their role. You have to play your role with us in reducing the impact of the virus. If you really listen to all the Caribbean islands that have been impacted, and furthermore, I just want to add one more island that has been impacted, and that's Montserrat. They have one confirmed case as well. And what do we have in St. Kitts and Nevis? As yet. Good. Although, to date, again, let me repeat that to date, although there are no confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. However, in the Caribbean, as the facts presented by Dr. Laws, there have been 97 in the Caribbean, with St. Kitts contributing 0. With the transmission of the virus now in the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis has shifted actions from a state of preparedness and readiness to a state of rapid response to the impact of this virus. Furthermore, let me tell you, since January of this year, this working group has been engaging in both public and private sector agencies in doing a number of training sessions. We saw the potential extreme of the disruption through all systems of life and livelihood from the inception of this journey, and I want to commend again highly the actions of the Chief Medical Officer and her team of the healthcare providers who have stepped up to the plate quite courageously and with little or no downtime since this quest to protect our nation from the coronavirus began. Both Dr. Laws and myself, we have been attending meetings most days for the past 2 months. We didn't start yesterday. We didn't start last week. We started over 2 months ago, preparing the country to be prepared for the impact of this virus. I also wish to commend at this time my staff at NEMA. They're small, but they're working every day, tirelessly. I have my PRO, who is in the audience, Miss Vesta Southwell. Let's give her a round of applause. She's right here. I have a little nickname for her. I call her Hopalong. And she hops everywhere I go with me to ensure that we get the information. Also with me, we have from NEMA, Miss Antia Earl Hendrickson, who supports in the administration aspect of things. Now, the working group focused on 4 critical areas, looking at the public health sector. And what did we do? The chief medical officer, when she receives that information, she shares it with us. Then what we do is we program ourselves to strategize to carry out a number of awareness campaigns. And these campaigns have been carried out in all schools. We call a number of meetings. For example, by the end of this week, all of our schools in St. Kitts would already been, they have already been taught, informed of what they have to do when the virus arrives. And even before the virus, let's give the National Working Safe School Committee of the Ministry of Education a round of applause. I don't need to say anything else about border security because the results are there. The results are there. St. Kitts has no confirmed case, and that's because of what we have been doing in terms of implementing measures. St. Kitts and Nevis is one of the first countries. St. Kitts and Nevis is one of the first countries to issue advisories with so much countries. We must commend the custom workers, immigration workers, port securities, and all those who have contributed to stopping persons who are coming from the hotspots, taking them to the health desk, processing them. We have quarantined persons, and we have done well in terms of carrying out these activities. However, Winston Churchill once said, a lie goes around the world so fast before the truth gets a chance to pull up your pants. I need you to help us to suppress all these lies. We don't want people to die from fear. Fear might kill more people than the actual virus. We are simple civil servants who are acting in the best interest of the nation. That's all we are. I have 21 years of service to country. All I've known since 1989 is St. Kitts and 88 is St. Kitts and Nevis. Dr. Laws, I just cannot overemphasize the work that we have been doing. Sometimes we finish late night and she gives me a drop home and we speak. Conversations are wonderful. Why? Both of us have elderly mothers. I said, Dr. Laws, my mother's 71 years old. She has diabetes, she has hypertension, she has asthma. I said, Dr. Laws, my passion, my drive besides country is to keep my mother alive. And she says, Mr. Samuel, it's the same thing. I already started to prepare my mom, but guess what? Understand the sacrifices we're making. Sometimes we lose ourselves in the service for you that we forget our own selves. We forget our own selves. Just the other day, a volunteer from NEMA, one of my volunteers called me, and he said, Mr. Samuel, I just see your mother by the corner of the intersection on 4th Street. I said, my mother? She said, yes, I saw your mother, and I carry her to Dr. Laws. And when I realized, when I looked at my agenda, because we were so concerned, Dr. Laws and I were going all day, I forgot to take her to the doctor. Like a little baby, I went looking for my mother over in Canary, and I cried. And you know what she said to me? Listen, right now I need you to save your energy and focus on country before me. Tell me if that's not a mother. We have no alternative agenda as civil servants, but just to protect you, keep you protected, and have the necessary measures in place that when the virus comes, we're going to hit it so aggressive that you're going to sorry that you come St. Kitts and Nevis. Yes? We must stop the lies. We have to stop. Today, I had over 50-something calls just asking me about that text message that was being sent around. It's not needed. Also, it's very important for you to note, Dr. Laz and I are working with science and facts. We are speaking with our regional partners. We engage in regional meetings, and the Honorable Prime Minister was kind enough to engage us and allow us to listen to the regional leaders speak. And let me tell you something. I want to move the podium, but I can't. With pride, St. Kitts is standing strong. We are standing very strong, and we are standing strong for everybody. Anybody who wants to access the services that we are providing, because the virus sees no color, sees no boundaries, it only sees destruction. I want to commend some citizens overseas who have engaged me. I want to commend the citizens who really want to contribute, who find themselves at Nemo to say, Mr. Samuel, this is what we can do to help and contribute to the national response effort that is being prepared. For example, we have Dr. Latoya Hart in Houston. She's willing to provide what we call telemedicine, where you can stay home and with your phones and your tablets. They can assist you. And we welcome those type of contribution. We also have cleaners and other persons with other services who come to the agency and say, this is what we have. And we welcome those citizens who want to join us in the fight against this virus. Now, let me bring you to date on something. This is critical. There's 3 things I want you to do for me. 1, I need you to develop a personal plan. You have to help us. We can't do it alone. You must develop a personal plan. Put some money in your pocket. Make sure your cell phone is always tapped up. Know the numbers you need to call. Know where the health centers are. Listen to the advisories that are going to be given out by the Ministry of Health and also NEMA. Also, it's very important for you to look out for your neighbor next to you. Know where those persons are in your neighborhood. It's very important. Also, you must trust. If you don't trust, we are not going to defeat the virus. You must trust the system. We are providing you with credible information. Secondly, I need you to develop a family plan. For example, in your home, identify a room where you're going to quarantine or isolate. That is critical. Also, within the family plan, you must identify who is going to do what and who is going to be responsible for whatever. So when the virus comes, you have a plan in place. Thirdly, you must have an institutional plan, because we have to have business continuity. The virus is not going to cripple us. We're going to show the virus what the resilience is in St. Kitts and Nevis, okay? So we need you to focus on that. For example, I can tell you, we have been working so hard that some of the institutions, we have been telling them, look, this is a humanitarian effort. And they have agreed to put it in their plan to pay their workers for the time they will be quarantined. Let's give those institutions a round of applause. We have also met in terms of food security. We have met with all the food suppliers. No need for you to do no panic purchasing. No need for you to do no panic purchasing. They have assured us they have sufficient food to take us through this time. So please do not do no panic purchasing. It's not necessary. We have you covered. We also have a contingency plan. And let me acknowledge Mr. Melvin James, who is working on a contingency plan to ensure that there is food in St. Kitts and Nevis to take you through this process. It's critical. Also, we have gotten some commitments from institutions such as RAMS. RAMS, because of the negotiation between Dr. Lars, myself, and them, they have committed to buying two mechanical ventilators at a cost of over 100,000 US dollars. Flow has also committed themselves to having the hotlines, and the hotlines are already installed. It's just for us to launch them soon. So you will have a hotline where you could call for free at no cost to you to get information as to what you need to do, where you need to go if you are affected by this virus. Let's give Flo a round of applause. It is just today that we met with Digicel as well. And what Digicel did is that they offered a number of things. For example, we gave them a Christmas list of things that we need in terms of protective equipment and other equipments. We also asked them to look at a package for you that in the event we go through a tough time, we negotiated with them to see if they can actually give you free calls at nights, because if you are quarantined in your home, we need you to stay communicated. And they promised us they will look into it and they will get back to us. This is how hard we are toiling the soil to ensure that we have continuity and to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis will be prepared to respond to this thing. No, let me tell you, I have a list of 19 things that we have been doing here in St. Kitts and Nevis. You have to stay informed. No other country is doing what we have been doing. Everybody at the moment is playing catch up. And we have to attribute this to the hard work of all the ministries that have supported us so far. It is important for you to play your role. Now, I'm going to end my presentation with this thought for you. Winston Churchill, y'all know Winston Churchill? He took the British, the UK, through a rough time when they were going through war. President Macron in France, he said, we are at war with the virus. We in St. Kitts and Nevis are preparing for the battle, which we are going to be victorious against this virus. And he said, at this point in time, he said, listen, in wartime, truth is so precious that she should be always attended by a bodyguard of lies. Follow the truth. We are providing you with the truth. We have a communication strategy. The day we get the first case, the Honorable Prime Minister will come in front of you and deliver and let you know and keep you informed what is happening. That's the strategy. There is no lies for us in this business. Dr. Lars is an honest woman. When I asked Dr. Lars, what is your passion? Where your drive come from? Dr. Lars said to me, Sammy, I have 31 years of service in Jamaica. It's time for me to come home and contribute. We have to support that. So again, I want to thank everybody. I need you to understand that at this moment, we are in the preparedness and response phase. Once we said to you, we have this first confirmed case in St. Kitts and Nevis, we then move into phase 2. What that means, there may be social distancing. We have to start to practice social distancing mildly now. Mild social distancing, we have to start practicing now. After that phase where we see transmission is spreading, then we move into phase 3, which is the transmission phase. I want you to help us to flatten the curve. If we flatten the curve, then we move on to phase 4, which is the recovery phase. If you do everything that Dr. Laws asks you to do, then guess what? What we're going to do? Flatten the curve. What we're going to do? Share that now. I want you to share that. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. Yeah? So let's be ready. Let's be ready. We are ready. Are you ready? Yes. Are we ready? Yes. Let's go to battle.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Samuel. Let's flatten the curve. You know, I've been listening to the experts tonight, and both experts have said without any doubt when the virus comes. But I'm an optimist, and I declare that I'm at variance with experts. I will say, based on our blessings from Almighty, if the virus comes. What do you say? Through the blood of Jesus. You know, we have to continue to pray. And I know we are a praying people. We started with the prayer tonight. And the Prime Minister would say that at every cabinet session, we invoke God's blessing. So we're going to pray that the virus stays away. We are going to have a little diversion and invite, I don't know if diversion is the right word. It's not? I'll withdraw that word. We're going to have a little treat before we introduce our distinguished Prime Minister and call on a songbird by the name of Dawn Archibald, who will bless us with a beautiful song. Let's invite Dawn Archibald.
Good night, everyone. I agree with the Honorable Patches Liebert because the Bible says life and death is in the power of your tongue. And whatever you say, that you will get. And because we have heard that we have no cases of the COVID-19, we can decree and declare that we will have no case. I want to assure us tonight that if God can keep us all these years from having a hurricane that is detrimental to our nation, He can, being Jehovah Rapha, the God that heals, protect us from this deadly disease because He is still God all by Himself. You need not to worry. You need not to fear. I stand to declare to you tonight that God is who He says He is. And a part of our national anthem says, no sword, no spear. Well, this coronavirus appeared to be a sword. So no sword, no disease can conquer our beautiful federation. Hallelujah. I love you, Lord, for your mercies never fail me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I have lived in the goodness of God. 'Cause all our lives He has been faithful. And all our lives He has been so good. With every breath that we have the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led us through the fire in darkest night. You are there like no other. We know you as a father. We know you as a friend, and we will live in the goodness of God. Come on, sing with me. In our life, God has been faithful. In our life, He has been so good. With every breath that He has taken, oh, we will live in the goodness of God. In our life, God has been faithful. In our life, He has been so good. With every breath that we have taken, we're gonna live in the goodness of God. We're gonna live in the goodness of God. And we will live in the goodness of God. And one of the promises that God made to His children is that none of these diseases that was placed on the Egyptian will come to St. Kitts. For there still are people in St. Kitts who have not bowed their knees to Baal. And God is obligated to keep our country safe. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dawn. You must give her a wonderful round of applause. She deserves it. Tonight, for the last hour or so, we have been discussing this dreaded disease called the coronavirus, which has been declared by the World Health Organization as a pandemic, which means it has spread the world over. Our CMO intimated that out of 193 countries, it has been confirmed in 159 countries. She provided tips to reduce the extremely high risk of contracting this disease. We just heard from the NEMA Director Abdias Samuel, who has assured us that we are in a state of readiness if, God forbid, that disease is confirmed here in St. Kitts and Nevis. But the fact is that the airlines have been slashing their flights. The cruise lines have suspended their operations. And this, no doubt, would eventually derive social and economic fallout here in St. Kitts and Nevis and the world over, as a matter of fact. Trump, the US president, has declared or has committed billions of dollars. We don't have a lot of money, Prime Minister, do we? He said no. And you know, he has the O. But we need to remain calm, I recommend, and I suggest. And we need to maintain a level of stability. And that stability, I can assure you, is within the cabinet of ministers. And we have a good leader. Our leader has demonstrated that capacity, that in times like these, we not only need a savior, we need a leader like the Dr. the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris. And I can assure you, because of him, we are going to stand strong, as Abdias suggested. Because of our leader, we are going to ensure that we will build resilience in this country. And no matter what, we, as a people in St. Kitts and Nevis, at the end of it all, we will be on top and we will remain number one. And I invite the number one leader in the Caribbean, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris, to address us.
Let me tell you about St. Kitts and Nevis, at the nicest place on a ramp road there, man, you feel it? Like Valencia said, nah, sell out me country, yeah. No people balling for the...
Thank you very much. Let us give Minister Liebert a round of applause for presiding over this important forum. I want to thank the hundreds of you who have come from everywhere across the island of St. Kitts. And I see some of you who have come from my father's land of Nevis. Give yourselves a round of applause. Tonight, I feel a sense of delight to be here, not just because we have such a wonderful turnout in Newton Ground, but because we have among us some of the best professionals anywhere in the world, and they hail from St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to thank the cabinet of St. Kitts and Nevis and all those who are involved in the tasks of nation building for St. Kitts and Nevis. Allow me to commend, starting from my far right, our Senator with responsibility for health, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, the Honorable Vance Amory, our senior experienced minister, the Honorable Lindsey Grant, representing the Ministry of Tourism, the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister Sean Richards, the Honorable Minister responsible for food security, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, and of course again our chairman, the Honorable Patrice Liebert. Equally, I feel delighted to have come here in time to hear two outstanding presentations from our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws. Give her a special hand of welcome. Equally, I was delighted to hear a young man who has given 21 years of special service to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Mr. Abdias Samuel present tonight. Two wonderful civil servants who blessed my heart tonight because of what they are doing, not for themselves, but for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, who I love with all my heart and soul and spirit. And it is for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, that I am inspired to use every waking moment for your betterment and upliftment. And I promise you, in good times and bad, Dr. Harris will be there with you. I will never leave you. And I'm not Jesus, but I will never forsake the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, who have always treated me better than I deserve. So I come to say thank you, even in this moment of challenge. And of course, to the wonderful people of number 7. The wonderful people of number 7. Thank you very, very much. I reflected as I sat there. To everything, there is a season. A time to plant and a time to pluck up. A time to vote for a man for many years and a time for the man to be discarded. A time for an old government and a time for a brand new team to take our country forward. That is life moving along, and none of us can obstruct the trajectory of time already preordained. For such a time like this, it is your team unity administration that God has charged to take the country forward to the difficult challenges. And we will, with your help. And it amazes me as I reflected. This country so beautiful and lovely. Our people so resilient and fun-loving. Have every time when they are faced with crisis, be it hurricane or any other challenge, we have risen again with a robustness that defied the very challenge which we have conquered. No wonder when Marcus Garvey came in 1937 and made that powerfully moving speech about people and our place in the world. It was that he said, oh, St. Kitts is so beautiful, but everybody says that except the opposition. Everybody who visits our island marvels at the beauty and the goodness of our people. And what was Marcus Garvey's admonition? If I were to take anything from St. Kitts, this beautiful island of St. Kitts, it would be ignorance. Ignorance. Importantly, when you listen to the news and all the lies that they are telling, they want to confuse people. They want you to be kept ignorant of truth and reality. Way back in 1937, one of the most powerful figures in Black history said to us, rid ourselves of ignorance. Tonight we come to help you. Rid yourself of the ignorance regarding one of the most deadly challenge we have faced. Well, deadly may be a wrong word. But one of the most significant health challenges in a lifetime in the coronavirus. And so I want to commend the lady who has been leading the charge in Dr. Hazel Laws. Give her again a round of applause. I want equally to commend the young man who has been leading and chairing the national work group which we set up in relation to this. Give Abdias Samuel again a round of applause. They come and their support team I commend. We see the Permanent Secretary of Health, Dr. Dolores Stapleton Harris. Give her a hand of welcome. I see coming from the health sector, Dr. Cameron Wilkerson. I commend him. I see coming from national security, Superintendent, have it. Rogers, give him a special hand. I see our captain. Yes? Major, that's higher up. Major Bass, give him a special hand of welcome. And all the others who have come in support and solidarity to get the right information. When the two civil servants and civil servants they are, come to present in a people's forum because their duty as civil servant is to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis impartially and to the best of their ability. One word resonates. Lord, these people love St. Kitts bad. I don't know about you, but I love St. Kitts bad.
Me don't know about you, but me love St. Kitts bad.
That's it. I mean, take a look at it. If you love your country, wouldn't you feel a sense of confidence in its successes? Didn't your heart pump a faster beat when Kim Collins became known as the fastest young man running the race? Didn't your heart feel a sense of pride to know that a Tiber Harris of St. Peter's made it professionals? Yes, you did. So how come, I wonder, some people in this country who want to lead the country again, God forbid, can't take a sense of pride in the fact that St. Kitts is doing well? How come every news that they put out is fake news intended to mash up the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis and put you out of bread? How come? Where is their soul and their sense of patriotism that must be in the heart of every national leader? I can't understand. How come could they have a problem with the fact that today St. Kitts and Nevis has no corona case and that got them going buzzardy? It is as if they are praying every day for the virus to come, for people to fall dead. What manner of men are they aspiring for leadership? That can't be right. I heard one of them say today, they can't believe that our country have all this good fortune and nothing happened to us yet. Why they want something bad to happen to you, to your mother, to your brother, to your friend? Why is it? Lord, let them pray to God like Dawn did, that the virus will stay far from this beautiful land. I can't understand. Why is it today the opposition elements try to create a scare in the country and send around this lying, abominable post that St. Kitts and Nevis has its first confirmed case, and they know it was a lie? Why would they stoop so low to disrupt the peace and calm of our country? Somebody had better warn them. What they're doing will not, very wrong. Very wrong. It is very wrong, and it is shameful that persons who want to lead the country seem to believe that their only chance of success is to destroy it. It's to eliminate the confidence of the people of the country. And in my book, those people are not deserving of the consideration of you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Some law, you're right. And we heard that before coming out of St. Lucia, where the Prime Minister there said they will have to toughen the laws. That in the case of a global crisis, not created here in our region, certainly not created here in St. Kitts and Nevis, with its origin way all the way in China we have never been, and perhaps many of us will never go. Why is it in that context it has been this scaremongering? And Alan Chastney was saying to the people, you have to have a stiff penalty to deal with these things. In normal times it is bad enough. But in abnormal times where we are facing a crisis, the opposition element is doing their very best, ill-advisedly, to create confusion and disruption in the country, which they know would only redound to the disadvantage of our people. And that is why we will review the law to ensure that this kind of unpatriotic behavior, the circulation of fake news in an effort to destabilize St. Kitts and Nevis, there will be a strong penalty for that kind of abominable behavior going forward. And we will ask the Attorney General to spend some time looking at the legislative framework to deal with this and other issues that are emerging. And to do it fast is the direction from outside. Yes, we are fortunate that at this time we are faced with a crisis that is in fact bedeviling the world everywhere. The most powerful country in the world for now and for the foreseeable future is the United States of America. And you listen to the news, the United States of America is scrambling now to put a plan together. You listen to the news, you appreciated that the second most powerful economy in the world is China, mainland China. And China is the source or the origin of this virus. So the largest, most resourceful countries in the world have not been able to keep the virus at bay. In contrast, the smallest independent country in the world today has been able to keep the virus at bay. And it did not happen by chance. It didn't happen by chance. It happened for the very reason that Mr. Samuel said. Very early, we started working a plan to protect the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and to keep you safe for as long as we could. That is why way back in January, the CMO became activated. 21st of December 29, the World Health Organization spoke to an emergency in the health sector with respect to corona. By January, patriotic civil servants understood their role to forecast, to predict, to prepare, to plan for the country. And they started doing their work. When you go to conferences around the region, they are asking, how come St. Kitts had a plan for so long? Because our people understand their role. Our people love their country so much that they want to preserve it from all harm. Give our professional civil servants another round of applause. You know, this is not a boast, it's a statement of fact. St. Kitts and Nevis is the best organized of all the countries in the region in terms of a plan conceptualized and being fine-tuned and tweaked at every important moment as we understand more about the virus. Very early, we started thinking through it, understanding it. It was new, but we understand certain things. It's not the first health virus. There are similarities, and our health people began to plan so that today we are at a better position than most countries. When we started to turn back cruise ships, other countries were letting them come into the airport. When we started to turn them back, the opposition was having a good laugh. Because for them it was that the country was losing tourists and income, and the taxi drivers would get less cash. And I said to them publicly without any apology, it is one thing to let those ships come ashore and compromise you and your health. The 200 US you may have made in one day would have been lost in expenditure for your health and recovery. And your whole family would have been, as it were, impacted by that health scare. It took courage to do that. And I want to thank taximen like King Socrates. When the wind reporter went to ask, you know, they always ask somebody something. The man said, I understand what the government is doing, and I support the government. Give King Socrates a round of applause. So we have been working a plan assiduously and carefully. The plan aim is to protect the people and to keep you safe. And that is why you have to listen to the professionals. We have brought them out tonight. Give them, as it were, a break from their hard work for you to see the ordinary sons and daughters at work for you and at work for me, making the sacrifices, understanding what is at stake, and doing the right thing. When I heard Abdias spoke about his mother, her challenges with health care, my mind reflected on my own mother, Tanti, Vera would call her, who had her own share of health challenges, going to Trinidad to deal with issues of kidney, and appreciating that you really can't put a price on health. And that is why, as part of the plan, we've been doing many things. And when you listen to the tips, really, that the CMO has given to us, they're very simple, and they're not so costly. Hygiene is the most critical. Wash your hand carefully, inside, outside, come up to the elbow if you can. Boost your immune system. The lime and orange that you used to let go, pick them now and make your lemonade, forget the Coke for a while. Boost the immune system. The breadfruit, the potato, the yam, healthy starch, boost your immune system. Can we talk about the vitamin C? It comes in tablets, it comes in liquid, it comes in the very fruits, the guava, the man support, all of those things that are available, use them to boost your system. And you may very well protect yourself. Be among the 80% of people who, when the virus comes, they will just have a mild reaction to it. It will be as if one of the flus had hit you and your body would self-correct. Is that so, CMO? Yes. See, I was listening to her, for I got to protect my health. Some of you just stress me out, me got to protect my health. So we pay attention to those simple remedies that are in our power. The important message is that the health of the country is in our individual hands. The government can do so much, but you can do even more by taking those tips that have been given and running with them. Ensure your daughter knows them, your son knows them, your grandmother knows them, and we are all applying them. So I want to say how good it is to have come here. I don't want to go over much of what has been said, except to commend the excellent work again of our professional team of devoted civil servants. Understanding the time of the moment and sacrificing all. When the cruise ship came here, and we said, no, they said what they allow us in Antigua. We said, well, Antigua has its own government. Up there is Gaston Brown, down here is Dr. Timothy Harris, two different governments. Antigua let you pass through, you can't pass through here, you have to go back. Why were we taking these harsh decisions, which would appear at first blush? Because we had a plan, and the plan presented to us by the CMO and the health professional operate the government in relation to this and the precautionary principle. In other words, do like the doctor said to do. The aim is to do no harm. To do no harm, don't let certain vessels come here once there is a probability that our people will be negatively impacted. We instituted very early at our hospitals quarantine arrangement. Some persons felt inconvenience, but we persevered based on the precautionary principle. We introduced quarantine, some voluntarily. And what is the voluntary, as it were, quarantine system? It is that we trust you. It is an honor system. We said to you, you are not showing the symptom now, but there is a 14-day period in which the symptoms may become pronounced. For that period, try as it were to keep yourself still. Try as it were to stop going town, go in the bank. Try as it were to stop go visit the neighbor. Try as it were to stop go to the movie while you're under a self-imposed quarantine. If people take that advice in good faith and implement it, that will help us to contain the virus if it comes here and to keep it at bay for as long as is possible. And I want to encourage that. We have a plan, and the plan will evolve as the circumstances, as the science emerges. We will evaluate the plan. That is the job of the national working team or group on COVID-19. That is the job of the CMO, who is a member of that, to advise us. And I know some people sometimes get too excitable. Some people look at TV and they see things happening in America, and as soon as they see it in America, they say, why we are not doing here? Because the time is not yet come. It is not everything you see them doing now. Is it necessary for us to do at this moment in time? Because we are at a different place in preparation and with the presence of the virus. Indeed, the World Health Organization says that while there is general guidance, each country has to be flexible and agile enough to adapt that which is applicable. So some people want to create confusion, and they say, well, what about this social, what do they call it? Social distancing. Well, in time to come, we will get there. But our actions at the government level is science-based and will continue to be based on the professional advice of the health professionals whose job it is to give us impartial advice. But it is a free country. We won't prevent anybody from taking those steps that they think are important to them. No. I heard National, for example, said today in a release, National Bank, we will have somebody at the door. And when you come in, we will give you a little disinfectant to do your hands soap. And I said, that's good. Hopefully more entities will do those things. Everything in a free and democratic society does not have to emanate from the government. Sensible, rational people will do the right thing. Sometimes the government may lead. Sometimes the individual will lead. And that is what is happening in the country. We are seeing that built out. I want to say that we are all for the all of society approach. In this crisis and facing it, we have to speak in one voice. And really and truly, we have to leave the politics aside. Leave the politics aside. Somebody said that this coronavirus, it doesn't know color. It doesn't know yellow. It doesn't know blue. It doesn't know green. It doesn't know red. It doesn't know orange. It doesn't even know white. All it knows is that it's coming for somebody. And our advice to you, let it not be you. I find it highly reprehensible when opposition elements as part of their strategy to disrupt the government, to disrupt the country, consciously tell lies about what is happening. I find it offensive when a medical practitioner goes on the platform and radio and says the most devastating things about our health system, and there is no truth in relation to that. You hear our CMO says that this small country stands ready with the health system, ready as can be given our limits and resources to be able to deal with the challenge. I want to say thank God to doctors like Dr. Cameron Wilkerson, professional at large, and all the other non-politicians who are giving advice that is backed by their independent knowledge. When they came to speak to us in the cabinet about the ship, they didn't come there to tell us what we want to hear. Indeed, they didn't know what we want to hear because we never approach it that way. We said we wanted your advice. They said, this is the advice. And if you follow this procedure, we can defend that action as citizens and professionals because it is scientific in its approach and it is the right thing to do. We understand that even as we roll out our health plan to protect and save life in St. Kitts and Nevis, there are going to be elements that needed to be improved. It's a journey. It is something new. America has made many mistakes. Even Bush now said that. China has made many mistakes. Well, Bush and Trump, all of them are president. They're still president. Whichever one of them, all of them at some point has admitted they have made mistake. There is only one unique leader who has never said sorry, who has never said, I made a mistake. And that man ain't gonna see it now. That man ain't got no seat now. I'm not call nobody name because me no want no politics in this. One man. Listen to it. Bush, Trump, Clinton, Obama, all of them have said they have made a mistake. One man, he don't make no mistake. So let's leave that man out of the equation and not call the man them because the man bad since he's small. But seriously though, I have been impressed. And you see, people know in whom to repose confidence. And the large number of independent, rational thinking people knows that St. Kitts and Nevis is doing well, number one. That St. Kitts and Nevis over the last 5 years has been the model performer all around the region. We know that. We know that in this, our beautiful country, we have been able to do what no other government has been able to do. Double up. 4 years in a row, double salary, double salary, double salary, double salary, double salary. Only under unity. Only under this government we have been able to restore to the non-establishment workers their gratuity denied them by the government that was. Only under this government we were able to build a brand new modern Mary Charles Hospital, bringing care to the people again. Only under this government, in answer to the challenge of the mentally afflicted, we built a day treatment center in Limekiln. Put your hands together for your government. Only under Team Unity, we responded to the challenge of cancer all around us and all around the region. A significant number of people are dying from cancers. And we built, you hear Envo out there with the big word, oncology center. I don't call it simply because I'm a simple man from Tabernacle. It is a cancer center to look after people who are suffering from cancer only under your Team Unity government. For all the years of JNF, it never happened. Happening now. So many things happening in healthcare now. They want to believe they could fool people that the health system in St. Kitts are the worst. But what make call you so bad and lying? What make? It is not so. Yes, there are changes, and the changes will come because we are neither deaf nor dumb. But all that is wrong, all the inheritance problem that we are dealing with at the hospital, all cannot be done in 5 years. Because you can't wipe away the systemic challenges in the system, institutional and personal, built up over 20 years of maladministration in 5 years. So you got to be reasonable. Tabernacle people, for example, know that we had no health center. Marcella Liebert shut it down. Marcella Liebert then put our health center in the basement of the daycare center. Marcella Liebert, as Minister of Health, her action meant that the young people in the daycare had no place to rest. Because the space that was there for the rest, for the playing of games, had to be converted to a health center. Probably next month, God allows, we're opening a brand new modern health facility in Tabernacle. How would they say that we ain't do nothing when our record in 5 years has been an outstanding one? It is on that platform of delivery that we are now facing the challenge, but speaking to the all of society approach to which the CMO spoke. And that means all of us. You notice she said you and I. And when she said I look back at myself like the man in the mirror. She means me too. Thank you, doctor, for including me in the admonition and advice. All of us can do it. And because the people of the country have confidence in them, people are stepping forward and volunteering support. This group of professionals have been to the chamber. I met with the chamber and part of the private sector last Thursday. Last Thursday, senior minister was there, cabinet secretary was there, and they commended this group. One of the largest turnout they had had at their meetings was in relation to the presentation that had been made on Corona by our team. They've gone to schools, they've gone to TDC, they've gone to National Bank, they've gone here, there. Today they were up at Public Works. Frankly, Patrice, you would have learned a thing or two. That is what they're doing their job in preparing our people. And some people has come forward. And I want you to give them all a round of applause of appreciation. We have persons like Mr. Reggie Francis. He has donated a thermal scanner that is to test the temperature when you come in at the airport as part of the screening process. Give him a round of applause. I gather that he has made available 2 properties, if needed by the Ministry of Health, to use for quarantine purposes. Give the man a round of applause. I want to thank the Rams group of companies. The group has pledged 2 mechanical ventilators. I want to thank SL Horsford. They have provided a supply of N95 face masks. I want to thank the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. It has pledged support for public awareness campaign using all the media platforms. I want to thank all the others, name and unnamed. The partnership we have struck with Lime and Flow, all of those efforts need commendation. Digicel, you are listening, which is good. And importantly, and we have to say these things, because the elements that are opposed to the orderly development of the country would want to believe the government has sit down and they're moving so much. They've gone into the pharmacies, met with all the workers, told them how to protect themselves, told them how to look for symptoms. All of this work, man, give the hard-working team a round of applause. Final point I wish to make, and Patrice attempted to get me there. I could make the pledge, are able at this time to finance from the government-owned funds all the necessaries that the Ministry of Health has put forward for St. Kitts and Nevis to be ready to face this. We have a budget that may be somewhere high numbers. Try to keep it reasonable limit. And we have said, whatever is necessary, Madam CMO, Madam Minister of Health, the government, just as we said in relation to crime, we will not put a cost on saving lives. And all that we can do, we will do to save and protect the lives of every resident in St. Kitts and Nevis. Because we manage the resources of the country well, we are able to do that. Today I had an interesting conversation when I heard that Alan Chastney, my colleague and very good friend, had fallen ill. Well, in fact, before I called him, sometime old people said, the spirit connect. He called me. And we began to talk. I said, Alan, I thought they say you did sick. I didn't want to tell him they say you got the corona. So I said, they say you're sick. And he explained to me the night before he was at an event and he wasn't feeling well. And so as a precaution, he decided, as it were, to do a little self-quarantine. Took the test, he's awaiting the results. He's awaiting the results, I think, from CAFA, which is in Trinidad. And having said that, I want to commend a young professional, Dr. Jeffers, who has a facility which, in the early stages, we were able to use that to do our own testing of corona right here in St. Kitts. It meant then that we had a quicker response. And I want to encourage all our health people to look for opportunities. But Chastney's worry, as was the worry yesterday when we were in teleconference with the IMF, everybody, where are we going to find this money? We are high in debt. We can't even pay salaries. We are going to have to default on debt. I mean, answer them kind of things there. Because we have managed the country well over the last 5 years. And I know that the fool and his money will soon depart. That is why I held on to the old. So today, whatever our needs are now, we are in a position to be able to finance them without borrowing a cent. To God we give the glory for that. We have come a long way from the mismanagement of the country. And when we got into office, we had to wipe off $117 million of indebtedness to the IMF. So the IMF could not tell us, don't pay double salary. We had freedom, sovereign authority over fiscal policy. That is why we took that decision. We had to pay over $100 million in indebtedness that the last administration left for fuel, taking the fuel from the government, never paid them 1 cent. Team Unity had to correct that. You don't know half the worries we have been through. And in 5 years, we are still shining. I met a lovely lady from Antigua, and I said, what are you hearing that Antigua say? She said, well, the man say he's going to have to begin to cut off some people from the civil service. He's going to have to cut back. I said, man, we're not even thinking that. To God be the glory. Because we have managed our country and the health of the country at this time. Put us in the best position to face the challenge confidently. So I want to end with a note of thankfulness. Thankfulness that we have the support of the people of the country. And thankfulness that for such a time like this, you have given us the opportunity. We are God-fearing people. And Nurse Garnett, all the way in Florida, would be pleased that I end with this note. And all the prayer warriors, including Sonia. I went all the way to Philippians, verse 4, chapter 4, and verse 6. Hear what this says, and Gloria, you should know, because you go to church, you're a big Christian. Do not be anxious about anything. Do not be anxious about anything. But in every situation, a situation of the worst health crisis in a century, you don't have to be anxious. You don't have to engage in panic buying. You don't have to buy more toilet paper than you regularly need. You don't have to go and shop downtown. And then you tie up your cash flow. You can't do anything else thereafter. You don't have to do that. That is when you allow fear to step in. And fear is a hindrance to organized thought. Uncontrolled fear. So we go back again to the Bible. My name in the Bible, remember, it is 1st and 2nd Timothy in the Bible. A good friend of Paul. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer. That is what we are relying on all of you for. Very good. By prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. That is why Dawn was right. The probability is very high that it will come. And when it will come, we are prepared. As best as we can, given our size, given our resources. Same. Well, not exactly, but by way of analogy, you hear Category 5 hurricane is coming. You prepare. You prepare for the worst, and you expect how it go again. Prepare for the worst and expect the best. But you could only have the positive expectation if you believe in God. So I move from there to Psalms 91. You see, 2020 is the year. It's the year for speaking positive things. So here's Psalms 91, which is a powerful psalm. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wing shall thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. You went to Sunday school, you're doing well. We do 2 more verses and then I move. Thou shalt not be afraid. Well, let me say it how it is with me here in this version. Let me say it how it's in this version, but it's good you remember your version. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night. You had it right up to there. Nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in the darkness. That is what the corona has become. Like a pestilence roaming the world to destroy it. Nor for the destruction that wasted at noonday. This is a lovely way to end, you know. To end on confidence that we, the people of St.Kitts and Nevis, are a God-fearing people. No matter what the science says, as important it is, our faith is in God. And if you keep praying, even in the midst of the storm, you can be still. Because even in the midst of the storm, I, man, still remain still. I understand what is happening. I understand it is an imminent crisis, but I have to keep a calm head, a cool mind, and not be distracted by fake news. And that is why I tell you all, be careful what you are listening to. Be careful who you are listening to, whether doctor, lawyer, buggerman, thief. Be careful who you're listening to, because there's a lot of false information that is going around. And I make the plea, listen to our chief medical officer, who by law and by commitment and by patriotism is devoted to service. Listen to Abdias Samuel, a young, talented man who can speak in Spanish and can speak in English. Listen to him and you will do well. Listen to your government, because we love you. We understand our responsibility to protect you and keep us safe. So may God bless our wonderful St. Kitts and Nevis, and may God Almighty keep us safe. Thank you.
When we look at where we're coming from, where we are today, yes, we gotta say thank you, and Lord, and you promise to deliver.
Yes, let us say thank you to our distinguished Prime Minister, Pastor Harris. Give him a wonderful round of applause. And he spoke at length about our plan. And our plan being the best plan or best organized our country being the best organized in terms of our plan. And this plan was based on science and advice from the best professionals. And without violating my oath of secrecy in cabinet, I can say to you that the Prime Minister likes to call emergency meetings. And when we heard about the virus way back in December 2019, he called an emergency meeting. And guess what? The man who had the vacated seat said we're having elections. But we were planning for this outbreak. And I can tell you, the plan began in 2020 to protect our borders and our people. Just Friday gone, Friday, when the man without his seat down one barrel, we in cabinet discussing how we're going to deal with this virus. So my family, it is heartening to learn as well from the Prime Minister that our plan can be financed by our own funds. And that tells or speaks volumes about how this country is being managed. So, our plan, as I said, is to protect our borders and our people. Our plan has been outlined by the CMO and by the director of NEMA. But you yourselves may need some clarification. You may have some questions. So you want to go straight to the microphone, straight to you, and you can ask your questions. Let us be brief as possible. State your name and tell us or ask us your questions quickly. Is everybody satisfied with the plan that was outlined? Yes? Okay, we'll take that first question. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Gordon Carey. I live here in Newton Ground. I've got two questions. Well, it's not really a question. I could address Mr. Grant because I'm a taxi driver and there are too many taxis for the jobs that we have. You cannot have a factory that employs 10 people and employ 100 people because 90 will not get any work. And that is the case with the taxis. Whether there's 2 ships or 4 ships in, when you look on the board at the end of the day, you see the amount of people there who haven't got a job. And it's every single day that ship is in. Never mind now there's no ships. Secondly, this is to Mr. Liebert there. The road was done up Foyles Road here. It is not wide enough for 2 vehicles to pass. But the road at the edge of it is so high that you cannot pull over to the side to allow another vehicle to pass. The road needs to be filled in at the sides so that when something else is coming down or going up, we can pass, pull over to the side and pass. At the moment, it cannot be done. Someone should really take a look at it and have it done, have it fixed, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next question.
My name is Enver. I'll be brief tonight, I promise. My name is please, we are somber tonight. My name is Enver Pemberton, a.k.a. Evangelist Penn. I want to say tonight that we are at a critical phase. Presently, we are at war. We are faced with adversity. And I want to let you know that adversity breaks some and it makes some record breakers. People, we are record breakers, folks. I want to say thank you to Team Unity for the great job that you have been doing. Dr. Laws, specifically, I don't know what's going to happen later, but I have to tell you, I have always loved you. I just want to let you know that you are stunning, but it's a genetic inheritance for which you cannot take credit. However, you live beautifully. And Dr. Laws, living beautifully requires judgment. It requires discipline and effort. You see, beautiful women, they come a dime a dozen. But rare is the sight of that truly exquisite woman who has developed the capacity to live beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, look at what our incomparable CMO embodies, crowned with compassion, surrounded by a competent and professional staff, our anchor holders.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elvis.
I want to say one thing to Dr. Harris, because I'm here for you. Somebody said that open rebuke is better. What could it be better than? Secret love. Dr. Harris, tonight I have always loved you. And I am moved. Dr. Harris, I have always loved you. And I'm going to end by saying this. Dr. Laws, I wish you could cut my heart out of my chest and present it to our Prime Minister so he could behold the pulsing, bleeding organ under his microscopic gaze to know that every beat says, Dr. Harris, Prime Minister, I'm with you. I told you that before. Thanks so much for what you have done for the nation. We are in unison. We are going to repay you by sticking with you. We are speaking with one voice, and I want to say on behalf of a grateful nation that we are going to resist anybody who stands against you. And finally, thanks so much for the confidence that you give me. We are going to continue, keep on living until we die by heightening the intensity of life.
Thank you very much,
to compensate for its brevity.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so much, Team Unity. We love you, folks, and good evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Enver. While we await the other question, Minister Grant, that was a comment, or you wish to respond? While you think, I can say to Mr. Kerry that we did in fact repair the road at Poise sometime last year, which you will be aware of. We paved the road all the way up there. In terms of your suggestion that it be widened, we will take it in. No, please. You said you want to widen the road so the two vehicles can pass. There to the side? Okay, what we will do, I can say to you that the engineers of public works will be asked to look at the issues you raised, and we will consider them as soon as possible. Mr. Grant?
Yes. To Mr. Carey's question, I think his question was basically that we are having too many taxis drivers now for the business that they have. I think in essence that was it. Well, I would just like to answer Mr. Cleary in this way. When we got to office in 2015, the last recorded number of passengers per cruise in 2014 was 624,000 passengers. We moved that in 4 years to 1.2 million passengers in 2018. And if you look at the numbers, we doubled the number of passengers by cruise in 4 years. Now, yes, we increased the number of taxi drivers, but most of the taxi drivers that we added to the program was because you had the present taxi drivers coming to us saying that because of the increased business, they required to have more drivers. We increased the numbers by about 15%. And as I can tell you, taxi drivers down there making good money. But as my grandmother used to tell me, every day is fishing day, but every day ain't catching day. There are some days, there's going to be challenges, but that's the nature of the business. But I want to tell Mr. Cleary that we have been doing very well in terms of increasing the numbers, and we will not overload the system. We are watching it carefully. In fact, you would recognize that we now have a second cruise pier, and so we're going to have increased numbers, but we're not adding. We're looking at it. We are looking at it very carefully because we are also ensuring that those persons who are in the taxi business get a decent amount of money when the week comes and when the month comes. So as a caring government and as a government that's making sure that the entrepreneurs in St. Kitts and Nevis are satisfied, we are watching it carefully and making sure we don't overload the system. I would also want to, however, add a word of caution. And the caution would be this, that the persons who plied in the taxi trade must also ensure that they save money when they make a lot of money for the rainy day. And you must not go and spend all the money that comes through your hands. So that we will implore you to make sure that that is done also.
Thank you very much, Minister Grant. And just a tidbit, tomorrow there will be a signing ceremony here in constituency number 6 for the small contractors who have been engaged as part of the Island Main Road rehabilitation program. That's just outside of St. Paul's there, by the sporting complex. So we want to see your face there. You know, we do things in the sunlight, and that's all part of our transparency process. We also want to advise you that representatives from the Ministry of Health and the COVID-19 Task Force will have a meeting on Thursday. That's this coming Thursday at 5 p.m. at the Connery Community Center to update citizens and residents on issues related to this pandemic. This meeting continues, continues on Monday, the 23rd. The team will be at St. Peter's Community Center and will meet again with citizens and residents, I believe, at 5 o'clock in the p.m. And on Thursday as well, our team unity, as part of our celebrations for the 5th year, we walk through, our team unity leaders walks through constituency number 1 on Thursday at 5 p.m. So we'll be there to mobilize our people. Next question. Yes.
Good night, everybody at the head table, and all unity, massive, down here tonight. I want to congratulate the CMO, Miss Hazel Laws, for a brilliant job she is doing. Regardless of the inquisitive people, the professional inquisitive people chatting a lot of nonsense. But people on the street ain't stupid no more, you know. And I want them to understand that. Mr. Samuel, he delivered himself well tonight. But I got 2 questions I want to ask. For years, I live around the bay. I know Bastia Roadstead more than anyone of you. And we have seen over the years, up to the other day, me and Soko, one of the popular monkey man at Port Zante was talking about that, because we partly raised at the bay, at the roadstead. You have some people come from Europe. They go to Guadeloupe and they rent yacht and they come down to St. Martin, sail down from Guadeloupe. We would like to see more precaution at the marina at Port Zante. We got to tighten up this thing, because this thing, as the Prime Minister said, he don't watch PAM, nor Labour, nor UPP, nor Scoya land, you know. When he come, he come. Before I go, I want to congratulate the Honorable Jean Hamilton to rolling out the new bin project and also doing a good job preparing us for when the rainy season come to try and deal with the guts. And I want him to just don't focus and tongue gut them. Let me deal with everybody. But the two men got in town, I love that. And continue. You see, the thing about unity and the vagabond regime before, we never used to get this kind of performance. Man will just talk and it blind the ear like wind. But we getting movements, man. We seeing things happening. And congratulate, because I in the car now. I in your car now. Have a good night, everybody. And don't forget to wash all your hands and don't let nobody cough in all your face. Can't just say, watch me and watch you, and who smiley you, smiley them.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jam Down.
Greetings, everyone. Are you from SK, boy? I live a different part of SK. Once you're from SK, all area is yours. Are you tired of listening to Town Hall and Meeting and Radio?
What's the name, sir?
And don't mind that. I'm named Ezekiel X.
So,
I name Ezekiel X. Hold on, miss. This ignorance ain't gonna get us nowhere. Hold on. I'm speaking, so respect is respect.
Go ahead.
I will explain my name in the right time. My name is Ezekiel X. I'm from St. Kitts. My agenda tonight is how we're dealing with agriculture. You understand? And this is a community where they ain't even got a community center. They need an upliftment. They need a community center. 3/4 of the best soil is in this place. This is the only place plant rice. And then the farmers, they ain't getting no attention. Lack on materials, lack on wires, lack on seeds, less seed supply, less food for animals. A whole heap of situation, the boss. The Minister of Agriculture and all of us got to come together and make things look good in SK. We say we want SK successful and prosperity. You understand? This is my issue for our nation. As you hear, we got the COVID-19 going on, called Corona. We have less food. We plant more easy food. We need to plant central food, like you talk about bread food, orange, lime. We don't have no citrus. We don't have nothing natural what we own and we own. We always buy, export, and not import. You understand? Yeah. We need to check ourselves with our health if we want to stay healthy to fight anything we're saying about. Blessed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much.
Good night. Thank you, Chairman, Honorable Prime Minister, other members of the head table, to my good friend, Mr. Abu. You go way back. It's good to see you there this evening at the head table with Team Unity Government. Congratulations. Now tonight,
your name is
question. My name is Claudius Hardis Gums.
Call yourself, right.
Claudius Hardis Gums. Question and statement. But the statement can come first and the questions after. Statement. Tonight, I want to join with the others in congratulating the Team Unity Government and the CMO, Dr. Laws, for their foresights and vision in dealing with this corona that is about to come. Vision and foresight. Despite all the propaganda that we have going around the country, they stand firm still and dealing with it. You see, we as a nation have to be serious about this disease. You can't be going around and sending all kind of false and fake news, trying to frighten and make the country unstable. We cannot. We have to stop it. And I want to congratulate the Prime Minister tonight, because he said he's going to speak to the Attorney General to put legislation in place to deal with this kind of situation. We got to done with this stupidness. Country first and politics come after. Country come first. So, I want to congratulate the Team Unity Government, the Prime Minister outlined all these things that they have in place to deal with the situation when it comes. And God forbid, you know, all those people who call in for this corona, God forbid, that when it comes, it don't jump at their doorstep.
Question?
God forbid. Question, Honorable Ian Patches Liebert. Attorney General, just recently, we realized that the man with the bag of money, right, was collecting the country money under false pretense. Under false pretense, he was collecting the country money. So my question to you, the Attorney General, and for the person outside who says he's talking long, what are we as a country, as a government, is going to do to put things in place to make sure that these monies that are being collected under false pretense be paid back to the Treasury and make sure it don't happen again? And I want to say to each and every one of you tonight, thank you for coming out. Team Unity Massive, make some noise! Good evening, and I thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Nice, sir.
Who live near and who live far. The whole community at the table of Team Unity, the followers, them, the members, and everybody, good night. Well, I am not talking about corona. I am not talking about ships. I am talking and giving thanks for the roof that I get fixed from this community. I used to live in a house. I used to have 3 buckets in 1 chair. I could not sleep. I had to make it. This one full, we move. The other one full, we move when we went falling hard. I lying down at the time, I seen the sunshine. At night time, the moonlight coming through the roof. The pieces of roof, them dropping down like biscuit. And this government, Team Unity, put it just like I want it, that the first night, I sleep till the morning, the sunrise, I didn't say no. So, I come to the mic to thank Team Unity, whole cabinet, for the aggressive and their good work. For I couldn't afford to buy 1 pound of nail. 1 pound of nail I couldn't afford to buy. And the workmen, they work on Sunday. And people who get the house fixed in this village still grumbling. They ain't satisfied. And they ain't like Team Unity. They're abusing the Honorable Prime Minister every day, every minute, and some of them get the house fixed. When they come from work, they're good. They could see where they're going and sleep and comfortable. But I am satisfied with the position, the ambition, and the what was called the big word again? The position, the ambition, and the power of the unity government that lifts St. Kitts up like a ship we're going down. And the next thing I'm going to say before I finish, how Mr. Harris ain't fighting behind the mic, firing the backs and kicking. Look how cool he talk. Nice and fun like a ice cream in the fridge. The other devil, we got the hand backs people all over there, like he Billy St. Kitts. But I'm glad for this government. When I sleep comfortable, I eat comfortable, I live comfortable. Thank you all.
What's the name? What's the name, sir? What's the name? What's the name for the record?
Theophilus Taylor.
Theophilus.
A Kittian, born Kittian.
Well said, Theophilus.
Theophilus Taylor.
Thank you very much, Theophilus. Thank you. I want to dispense up some of these questions. Perhaps the task force can address the first one that relates to the precautions, what measures are in place to protect us from the arriving vessels, small yachts in particular, or perhaps all vessels, period. Any particularly small ones.
Well, all right, regards to the marina, the Honorable Prime Minister has approved for us to be able to increase the manpower. So what you're going to be seeing at the marina is an increase in manpower in terms of customs officer, port health officer.
Please, there's a response on the floor.
Yes. We are going to increase the manpowers to strengthen the surveillance at the marina. So you're going to be seeing that there's going to be a higher presence of customs officers, immigration officers, and also port health officers. Also, we are going to put out a communique, meaning a letter, to tell vessels, those small vessels, that they have to stay at bay until our port health officers go out there, assess them, and once they get their approval, then they will come into our shores, okay? Also, we are going to identify critical ports where they're going to come in to St. Kitts and Nevis waters. So no longer they could just anchor anywhere and basically go in anywhere where they think, where they feel like. They are going to come to specific ports. For example, we have the port at New Guinea, we have the Marina Port Zante, the Deep Water Port, and Christophe Harbor. So there's going to be a level of control in terms of where they could go and St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you very much. In terms of food security, Minister Hamilton, the question, and I don't know if you want to deal with the community center as well.
Thank you, Minister Liebert. And for the person who asked the question, thank you for the question. I want to begin first with what was mentioned about the bin project. The government launched a project yesterday. We have 12,000, at the moment 12,000 bins, and each household, any one of you who has an electricity bill, an electricity meter, will be presented with a bin, a 65-gallon bin, with instructions of how to dispose of your garbage. The bin is connected to your meter and through GPS can be identified anywhere that it is. So if someone steals it, we can find it. So we have introduced that technology to be able to help us to dispose of our garbage properly. The other element of it is to reduce the workload, the lifting by the people who are working on our trucks and dumping by hand. Technology is introduced to lift the bins mechanically and dump it into the trucks and put it back. The purpose is to continue to help to clean the country, keep the country clean. You remember we started last year with the removal of all of the derelict vehicles from across the country. And to date, we have removed 7 million pounds of scrap metal out of the country and shipped them to Miami. The program continues, and this is all part of helping to keep the surroundings that we have clean. But I would not go into the cleaning up of the guts. I thank you for the point on about the cleaning up of the guts. Let me, however, while I can respond to your agriculture question, recognize that with us is Mr. Melvin James, the Director of Agriculture, who is part of the task force, the force working on coronavirus issues. And I will invite him to share with you any information that would respond to your question.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. And also thanks for the question. It's always a great opportunity when we can speak about agriculture. I'll have to be brief on this occasion. I'll try to be condensed. Now, you mentioned two things, I would say. One about assistance to farmers. Generally, the Department of Agriculture try to assist farmers wherever possible. It's not always possible that everybody can get everything they desire free. We order supplies and try to sell them at reasonable rates. One of the things that we need to do is to decide on a few things, because it's not always possible that we have a limited supply. It's not everything that we can purchase with the limited funds, so we need to kind of like zero in on a few things and use them more efficiently. You raise a very good point about the choice of crops. Generally, since the closure of sugar, we had specialized in vegetables, lettuce, tomato, that kind of stuff. But when we're talking about food security, then you're talking about things that store long, like breadfruit, you did mention, sweet potato, pumpkin, and those are the kind of things we have to focus on now, because we have the risk of ships not coming. So the onus is several-fold on the farmers, even those of us with backyards and so on. We need to do a few things to help ourselves. And in addition to that, the department is rolling out a national program where we'll be looking at how best we can supplement what we have so that we will be able to be more self-sustaining. Presently, our output is usually around 20% of our demand, so we need to engage entrepreneurs, homeowners, farmers, and the department itself to see how we can supply that additional 80% using the hardier stuff, yam, dashing, tanya, so that we will never be out of food. The simple thing is that we have to get accustomed to eating what grows here naturally. We're going to have to give up sometimes on maybe the kiwi and that kind of thing, and establish the taste for local, the things that come easily, the gooseberry, the tamarind, the sweet potato, the green fig, that kind of thing. Once we could develop that kind of taste, we wouldn't really be facing a problem. So be assured that going forward, we can in fact, and we will be able to sustain ourselves using our local food. Gotta rush it a bit. I hope you understand, and thanks for listening.
Very much, Mr. Director. Wendy or Jean with the Community Center? Hamilton? Question of Ezekiel X.
Well, I believe the simple way to answer it, that it is really not practical to have a community center in every little community. But if here needs one, certainly I will think that a proposal ought to come to the government, and then that the government will consider any proposal that is feasible.
Thank you very much. The question of collecting money under false pretense. The AG is not here. Prime Minister, will anyone at the head table address that?
The gentleman raised an important issue which certainly has to be investigated. I think the national community is as concerned as the gentleman is that we have had for the last couple of years an imposter in the parliament. Because that is what the ruling meant, that you had an illegal participant in the parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that is a matter of concern. The consequence of that is that Denzel Douglas would have collected near $500,000 from the government treasury as a member of parliament and leader of the opposition. And for the majority of that period, he had no proper entitlement to those sums, if we interpret the judgment of the court. And therefore, that is a matter which we are seeking legal advice. My own recommendation, if I dare to be so bold, is that Dr. Denzel Douglas should be honest enough, since he says he accepts the judgment of the Supreme Court, to recognize that he had no entitlement to that amount of money from the Treasury and should do the honorable thing and refund the Treasury the monies that he collected and to which, according to the judgment of the Supreme Court, he really had no local standing, no bona fides, and was therefore, in my view, not entitled to those sums. So we will see what happens when the dust is settled. But the gentleman is right. It's a large sum of money for anyone to have received, and as he put it, under false pretenses. And for me, and for history, it really is a tragedy that you could have someone sitting in our parliament purporting to make laws. The Attorney General said it right. Every act, every speech, every resolution on which he participated really had been compromised by his action because he was, in real terms, an imposter in the parliament. And that should never, never happen. And so we will wait to see what happens in due course.
Thank you very much. Unless there are any pressing questions or any more questions, in particular in relation to our discussions tonight on COVID-19, I will invite Kevin Williams to give us the vote of thanks. Could we welcome Kevin with a round of applause?
Blessed night to all. Mr. Chair, could you allow me to adopt the protocol that was established? I would like to recognize our esteemed Prime Minister and his team that are present here tonight. I would also like to recognize the National Task Force for the Defense Against this COVID-19 virus, headed by our National Disaster Coordinator, Mr. Samuels. I would like to thank Pastor Algin Thomas for invoking God's presence. Thank you for the panel, for your expert and honest reassurance, your honesty and reassurance that you provide us with tonight. It is very clear that our Team Unity government has a robust plan for preventing the virus from entering our federation and strong plan for when the virus reaches our shores. Much of this work, understand, has been done behind the scene, and we thank you for sharing it with us tonight. We are reassured by the numbers of measures that have been adopted to protect our federation and by the strong plans in place by educating and preparing us. It is reassuring that the government response to the crisis is a partnership between our residents, our business communities, and groups and citizens. All citizens have a role to play to keep our federation healthy. We must be responsible for our own health. As Dr. Hazel Laws says, wash your hands regularly, do not touch your face, and maintain a safe distance. Thank you. Be responsible, only share information provided by the Ministry of Health, and don't listen to self-appointed experts on all the fear-mongering that they are doing by spreading fake news. This is a time to listen to the official health and medical expert. This is an issue, not politics, and will have implications on all of us. Tonight, we are also thankful to our Prime Minister for the steady way you and your administration are dealing with this crisis. Your strong economic management signifies that we are in a stronger position to provide, protect, and care for our citizens. Just imagine if we have the IMF to pay, and VAT and food and medicines. Just imagine that. But we are already clear all of those stuff. May you and your team continue to guide us through this period to a stronger and safer future. Forward ever, backward never. Now is the time for us to come together as one people and one federation. Working together, will come through this stronger and more united than ever before. May God guide and watch over us in the coming days and be blessed, St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to thank all of you for coming out. I know you feel comfortable to know that we have a caring government which have the interests of our people first. Good night to all and guidance on your journey home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And we also want to thank Open Interactive, ZIZ, and all those who have made the broadcast live on social media and other media. And we want to remind you that tomorrow, again, we go to St. Paul's. Let's see your face there. Show your support. We sign the contracts. On Thursday, we go to constituency number 1 for our team unity walkthrough. As well on Thursday, at the community center at Connery, the COVID task force will update you. And again, on Monday, the same task force will update you. We want to thank you, and we want to wish you a safe journey on your way home. Remember what Pastor Harris said. Our faith is in God. But always remember, no need to fear, no need to panic. Faith breeds success, fear breeds failure. Good night, we love you. God bless you all.
Hold on, wait for a minute, St. Kitts Nevis, bless me if you pray for a minute, boy. Pray for a minute, boy. Ooh, no. Yeah. Blessings. Imagine early in the morning when you wake up. Daddy fixing up some breakfast while I make up what I make up on. Everything is blessed between the two islands, so we giving thanks. We don't have to check the weather channel for the status. Take a look inside, I know right, the sun is always there on time. 1983 upon this fertile soil, independence, alright.